We'll sip our worries away, nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. Let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Your eyes, they sparkle with every click. Sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call. Tonight, we're diving back into the golden age of TV ads, but specifically the scare-you-straight kind. They went so hard they became memes before memes were a thing. From a talking bear guilt-tripping you about forest fires, to fried eggs having something to do with drugs, these public service announcements were pure 70s and 80s panic in 30-second bursts. Top off your glasses, settle in, and let's roast the classics that made us all paranoid about trees and breakfast. The Canarble Wagon rolls right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
What you sipping on?
The Alabama Slammer!
The Alabama Slammer. A little darker than you would expect because I think the way I made it, you could barely call it an Alabama Slammer. So what is an Alabama Slammer? If you watched Liquid Lunch today, you know, but it's basically whiskey, amaretto, a citrus. Some call for lemon, some call for orange. I'm not doing orange juice anymore. It's going to be lemon, and it's probably going to be kind of easy on it. One recipe called for adding grenadine to it. I'm not adding grenadine to it. So mine is significantly darker than your average Alabama Slammer. I don't think you can even call this an Alabama Slammer. This is a Friday night special, I think is what it is. So let me welcome all of you to another wonderfully exciting, I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but definitely going to be a fun night hanging out with you guys on a Friday night. Welcome to the weekend. Let me start saying hi to each and every one of you. I see Jamie Lynn, who says, I'm here early, but you can only be so early because I was pretty late getting the stream up, to be honest. Geek Flag with Nate Knows says, like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member, and if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not gift a membership instead to help our family grow? And then he did exactly that by gifting a last call membership to the Joker voice. How cool is that? Oh, that is wonderful. Welcome back to membership, Mr. J. And, oh, what do we have here? We've got a Farty Fox. So you know what that means.
Shimmy left, shimmy right, Farty Fox is dancing tonight. Hearts go popping out his bum, wiggle, wiggle, here they come. Come. Cute as can be with a fluffy tail sway, spreading love in the silliest way. Farty Fox, you're the best. Boop, 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 you're simply the cutest mess.
Yes, and we're all a bit of a mess, aren't we? Thank you so much for that, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Yeah, that's going to be a regular thing until you guys get tired of it anyway. But I wanted to say hi to Netter, the love of my life, who is calling me the love of hers. Let's get her in here. How you doing, and what are you sipping on, my dear? I just realized I still have the mic set up from Liquid Lunch.
I'm, of course, sipping on my Polar brand seltzer water in blackberry mango.
There you
And
go.
I'm actually doing really well. I am completely and totally caught up on everything at work.
That's always a good feeling.
I got nothing waiting for me to address on Monday. Unless one contract gets signed, then I just have one I have to deal with, and that's it.
How wonderful is that? And you've been not quite as rigidly as I have, but you've been eating pretty clean the past couple days. Are you feeling pretty good?
I lost a little over 2 pounds.
There you go. See, 2 pounds. So there you go. And she also reiterates to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a membership if you are feeling particularly generous. And thanks, of course, to Geek Flag with Nate Knows for that Farty Fox and for the gifted membership. Let's see. Connie Cleary, hail to you, the bird woman of YouTube and the star of Fluff Chick Productions. FKC 2005, whom we all lovingly refer to as my drink break. Tim, good to see you, my friend. He celebrates a month of membership with summertime coming. A PSA for all the original gender neutral bathrooms in the public pool. Oh, yes, I suppose that you could look at it that way. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Big Al Presents says, hello, my friends. Could use an Alabama Slammer on, or 3 myself right now. Still no internet. But anyway, have a great show, my friends. Well, at least you can listen in on your phone. I hope you got it charging, because that phone, will probably run down if you are using it exclusively for the YouTubery. That's a word.
Certainly.
So, no grenadine, no orange juice. You're just a lazy drunk. Yes, that's about the size of it. No, I went lemon juice, not orange, but that's why it's also so dark. There's, the lemon juice brings nothing to the visual of the drink. Labatt's Ice for me tonight. Is that some sort of a cooler or something like that? And salute to you, Deleted Scenes. Good to see you, my friend. Mark Malnikoff jumps in to say, greetings from the dilithium mines of Rorapente. Drive by, like, share, and subscribe, and become a member, or I will have to have you sent here to work in the mines? Oh, you don't want that. You
I
do
know, I've
not
worked
want
there
that.
before. I mean, briefly.
Yeah.
For special events, but
Yeah.
I do not envy you,
It's
my friend.
it's a corporate nightmare. Let's just put it that way. So let's of course get my designated driver in here. Who, let's face it, this is really, we should really start calling it Last Call with Aged Boomer, and his sidekick, Troy Pacelli, because honestly, he runs the show lately. He creates.
Please.
He creates the presentations. In fact, he comes up with the ideas for the topics we're going to be talking about. So yeah. Next week, though, next week, am I correct that next week is May the 1st? Yeah. So next week is going to be Star Wars themed. For sure, because that is May the 4th. Weekend. There's a lot of things that have been happening. We'll be talking about on. I'm having a senior moment. What do we call it? Geeky Geezers. Geeky Geezers on
We got a
Sunday.
Star Wars article this weekend.
Star Wars news, yeah. And if you follow my Star Wars group on MeWe, there's a bunch of articles. I just keep putting them out every time I see Star Wars. It's just I don't do them on the channel much anymore because I've kind of lost interest in Star Wars, but I could very easily get interested again.
Hey,
you
didn't ask me how I'm doing or what I'm sipping on.
I was getting to that. How
okay,
are you
well,
doing
I didn't
and
know.
what are
You can wait.
sipping on?
Okay, go back to what you were doing. We'll get.
What
to
did
it.
I say? It's his show. He's got to school me a little bit. So yeah, what are you sipping on?
I have a Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. I am drinking a beer tonight.
There you go. That's nice.
So I guess Netter's going to be
have-
the designated. Well, I'm only going to have one.
Maybe.
You can have one. You're fine. You know?
I have upstairs. What is that we got when we were down in Florida? Is that Bush beer or something like that?
Oh yeah, Bush.
Yeah, it
It was a single can when we got to the hotel.
Huh.
Someone had left it behind, and we figured out why it was. You know how cans sometimes bow on the bottom. Yeah, that's what it was.
My
yeah,
dad
there's a
used to
dent
drink
in the
that.
bottom.
So I actually have it in the refrigerator upside down because it can't stay the other way.
Yeah, my dad used to drink Bush beer. I remember that.
I've never had Bush beer.
Oh, okay.
Never had it, so I'm going to give it a try eventually.
I was
let's
watching
see.
that show Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, and he's in a rich man's club, and he goes, and I think he asks for like a Coors long neck or something, and the guy's like, "We don't have that." Well, give me the rich man's version of it then, okay? That's what he says.
go.
That's what. And
It's
then
just
he said,
cold brew lager beer, cheap around here. Oh, okay, I get it. There you go.
and then he said, "That's pretty good. Thank you for this." And then I think he smashes it over somebody's head in the next scene.
Exactly how you do it. It kind of makes sense. What was that Billy Bob Thornton movie where he's like, Bubba not dumb, Bubba smart? I forget what that movie was.
I don't remember.
Anyway, I know these quotes stick in my head and I can't even remember the
Bothering me.
movies. Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, look at Big Al.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I've fallen behind on the chats here. Give me a second to catch up. Star Wars Day falls on Monday. Members Night at the Movies. Star Wars content? Didn't even think about it.
It's gonna be the Ewok adventure. Caravan of Courage.
Yeah. Well, I could do a double feature. I could do both of the Ewok films.
Maybe skip the second one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
Of course, it
They
does have
killed
the
off
Quaker
brother,
Roads
didn't
guy
they?
in it, doesn't it?
Well, I think didn't they both have Wilford Brimley in it?
No, he won in the first one.
He was in the first one.
He was
not the
special.
second?
They had to save him.
I'm gonna have to get a special. I'm gonna have to do a custom action figure of Wilford Brimley. You know.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
You
I
really
probably
don't.
will.
I was
I've
so
already got. There was one, and I don't remember which movie it was. Some little alien from Endor who like ran really fast.
that was
and
in the second movie too. Yes, it was like a jackrabbit. Yeah,
I've
you know
got
what's
a
funny? I
custom of him.
I think that in that movie would have been a perfect explanation because you have like these orc creatures, right? Because
Right.
it's almost like a fantasy world Endor, and like
Right.
they're going up, but they're shooting laser guns and stuff. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it have been interesting if the reason why these creatures had these, they were picking up old Imperial weapons left behind for the Battle of Endor, and that was the reason they had those weapons. That would have been interesting, but no, we don't get any explanation. Because how are they manufacturing these laser guns on Endor? It doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever.
Very
What
good.
do I know?
Sling Blade. Oh no, no, yeah, because they had the whole story from the first one was that there was, or maybe it was the second one, that they had raiders or pirates or something that were landing on the planet, and they were
maybe that's
leaving
what it
stuff
was.
behind and stuff.
Maybe that's what it was.
Sling Blade is the movie. I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I just only ever saw a clip of it, and that's why
I
I
love
don't remember
Sling
the
Blade.
movie.
It's one of my favorite movies.
That could be why. That could be why I don't recall very clearly. But yeah, let's get to the presentation that you so deftly put together.
Well,
'Cause
okay,
you
well,
are
we
the
don't have to
man.
rush through it, but we'll see. Just throw it up there.
There it is.
This
Presentation.
is public service announcements. We're going to tell you what to do.
This is
the government lecturing you on TV.
spending money on basically a TV ad. These were all done professionally, so people were employed. Let's face it, this was pork barrel spending in the guise of doing something good for the public, and it was just the government doing preachification.
And they were required to give a certain amount of public service announcements, like every year or every quarter.
Yeah. The networks were told they had to carry these things in order to maintain their licenses, and some of them actually did do their own on the network. Some of them worked it into the TV, because you'd always have that very special episode of Different Strokes or whatever.
Yeah, they
Those
had
were
a
always
lot
the
of very
worst.
special
They were always the
episodes of
worst.
different, and they were always the two-parters usually.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited! We could probably do a whole episode on very special episodes.
Is that Saved by the Bell, where Jesse
Saved
was
by
getting
the Bell.
addicted to caffeine
Yeah.
pills?
Right, because the irony is they wanted to do a public service message about drugs, but they weren't allowed by the Federal Communication Commission to actually talk about drugs. It's like this is a problem. And we see the same thing happening now on YouTube. People talking about safety and protecting and stuff, but you can't talk about the things you're trying to keep safe or protect from,
Yep. Like you can't speak out against certain groups because you're using the word of certain groups, Like
exactly,
I'm saying,
exactly. Or safety with certain tools that you really shouldn't mention because you get your stream demonetized. Or children being protected from certain materials and activities, but you can't put that into words. So, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let's go to the first one here. Fire safety. This was a burn, pun intended, to try to find ads from. I was looking for ads from the 70s because apparently people. I read on I think it was a forum somewhere. Someone said I saw this one fire safety ad from the 70s where the girl catches on fire at the end, and I'm like, I need to find this one. Couldn't find it, and most of the ones I'm finding on YouTube, they're all English. It's like, Mummy says I can light the fire. It's okay. Okay, Timmy. Timmy, the house is on fire. No, it's stuff like that. It's with their British accents, but I did my best. So let's get into a couple of fire safety. I picked this one to see if you know who this is, because apparently this was an Illinois ad, because some of these are regional.
Okay, yeah.
And this was an Illinois ad, Snuffy the talking fire engine, and he would talk to the kids.
Oh my God, that's a nightmare fuel.
You don't like that?
Holy crap!
I don't remember that one.
Do you know when this was from? This might have been a little after.
The 70s. It's from Illinois. I thought maybe you or Netter might have seen this on TV.
No, and I do feel like this is the kind of thing they would have carried during Bozo's Circus or that kind of programming.
Well, it reminded me because he's telling the kids in the audience, and they're stop, drop, and roll, and do these when crawl low when you're and there's a fire and all this, and just
Well, I mean, it's good advice, but no, I don't remember that at all. Maybe I did see it, and I've got a mental block, because it's traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Smokey the Bear commercials where they would tell us to stop, drop, and roll, but I never saw this nightmare fuel.
Yeah, this is wow. I'm guessing the lips move too, right?
Yeah. Yes. Of course it does. It's not like Thomas the Tank Engine. Let's not go that far.
Oh gosh.
The eyes move, but the mouth doesn't. That always threw me off. By the way, Mark Malikoff, I'm sorry. You might want to bring his comment up. Let me do that. Not that it's my show, but anyway, I saw those as a kid, and still started a fire in my garage when I was a kid. I put it out to it. It was grounded for what felt like was forever. Every kid does something reckless. You know what I did once? My dad, of course, had a workroom where he had all these little projects going on. Tools, nails everywhere. He had a severed cord to a lamp. Like it was snipped off and with the plug attached to the other end. And I'm like, I wonder what happens if I plug this into a wall socket.
Wow.
I go and plug it in. As soon as I plug it in, sparks start flying out of the other end. I removed it, and there was a black mark in that socket, and I don't know if the socket didn't work or whatever, and I just ho-hum. I didn't get caught on that one, but I was I pulled it out just in time, I think.
I learned a lot of lessons. Not from my own mistakes. I had people in my life who went out of their way to make sure that I learned very valuable lessons. I won't go into my uncle teaching me to respect our favorite freedom tools that are mentioned second in our Bill of Rights. But that was a pretty graphic demonstration of why you should be very, very careful with those tools. But pertaining to the electricity, my great uncle Ralph, he was the youngest of my grandmother's siblings. He was kind of a jack of all trades. Whenever something went wrong, he was the guy to call, and he was doing some wiring for my mom on a switch, a room switch, a light switch, and he was doing something that you should not ever do. He was working on it without turning off the electricity. But he claimed he was being very careful and he knew what he was doing.
Right.
And to this day, I have to assume it was true, because when he finally said, I want you to come over here, I want you to see why everyone's telling me I should turn off the electricity. He says, because you should. Just because I'm not doing it doesn't mean you shouldn't, and here's why. And he connected the positive to the ground, and the sparks started.
Wow!
And I jumped back so fast, and he thought that was so funny. But I was like, okay, I got the message. Why are you? And he goes, because I know what I'm doing. But that's not an excuse, so don't you use that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, do as I say, not as I do.
At least not until you're older and have more experience.
And I know I told you the story about the fire that I started, but literally because my mother told me to. We were playing with sparklers at the 4th of July. And she says, write your name, and, you could see the streak of light and stuff. And she goes, you know what I used to do as a kid? I used to throw them in the air, and they'd arc in the air. And and we're doing that back and forth. And I threw it once, and it went a little farther than I expected, and went right into the pine trees with all the pine needles underneath them.
Oh, no.
Whoosh! And my father came running out, and he's trying to slap it out with his hand. My mom is getting the hose, and I was scared to death. She's like, you're not in trouble. You were doing exactly what I told you to do. So effectively, I'm the one that started the fire. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Never, 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 never. So I learned a lot of safety lessons, real time, from other people's mistakes.
Yes. Well, yeah, and that's what you do. But then you can, sometimes, experience is the best teacher also, though, right?
Well, they do call it learning it the hard way, and yes, you learn very solidly.
You want to move on from this nightmare visage? Apparently,
please,
you don't.
You're giving me nightmares already, and I haven't even fallen asleep.
I thought you knew who this was.
That one I didn't know.
I love this one. Catfished by Smokey the Bear.
Oh yeah.
Do we need to talk a little bit about Smokey the Bear? What's the deal with Smokey
We probably
the Bear?
should. The younger audience, and I would
I
suspect
think he's still relevant.
those
right?
outside the United States might not even know who Smokey the Bear is. The thing is, his slogan changed. It used to be, "Only you can prevent forest fires," and they changed that because someone decided they're not forest fires, they're wildfires. I'm like, they're wildfires that take place in the forest.
No.
They're forest fires.
The argument I heard was wildfires can happen anywhere, and so we have to think about those as well, which makes sense.
Well, then let's broaden it as wide as we can. Only you can prevent evil in the world. I mean, let's.
Well, I don't know
homes,
about
don't
that
go
unless
anywhere and nothing
even
bad will ever
Superman
happen.
can't prevent evil. I mean,
Well, no, but it's like, don't you do it? And if you don't do it, and everyone doesn't do it, then
I understand. But let's get into this. So this is this commercial, right? And you have this nice lady, and she's talking about, when I invite you on we go camping out in the stars, but then something gets loose because you didn't see the fire, whatever, blah, blah. I forget what she's talking about. I think I was too busy trying to figure out if that was an older Anne Margaret or not. I don't know. For some reason,
she's an attractive enough looking woman, yeah.
But then suddenly, wait a minute. What? Someone's lifting off.
What is happening?
And then it's Smokey the Bear, and he's like,
"Oh my
God! If it was me, you probably wouldn't have listened." What the heck happened with this ad? That's why people said. I saw on some forums where someone said catfish. I'm like, yeah, that's a catfish right there.
That is like catfishing. What the heck? Oh my God! More nightmare fuel. This is.
I want this to be like the guy he proposes. They get to the altar, then they go on the honeymoon, and they get undressed. Okay, Smokey the Bear.
Wow! My God!
It might have been Joanne Cassidy. Maybe it was Joanna Cassidy. What is this? What was I watching here?
The original voice of Smokey the Bear was Jackson Weaver, a veteran radio personality and actor. He began voicing the character in 1947 and continued to do so until his death in 1992. Holy crap! That's a long career.
That's a long time to be a bear. Netter, do you remember this commercial?
No.
I remember this commercial as a kid. I know I
just
saw
horrifying.
I know I saw this as a child. I think it threw me off. I'm like, what? I remember this. That's why I
that's the other thing too. A lot of these public service were not. I wasn't the target demographic for them specifically because I was in scouting, and this was back when scouting was far more hardcore. You learned some serious fire safety because you were definitely responsible for that campfire. You learned some very serious safety with axes and saws and whatnot because you were chopping up firewood.
Well,
and there was very strict rules.
Because when I was in Cub Scouts at one of our meetings, one of the fire chiefs came down and talked to us about fire safety in front of the whole troop. I remember that. And he played some videos, and these videos start a certain Hollywood celebrity.
Dick Van Dyke, no kidding.
Dick Van Dyke, and I remember, and I don't remember these from TV. I remember these from the video that he had. Like they had like a film projector, and they played these first, I guess, from the fire. But these are actually pretty useful. One,
I think I remember these. Yeah.
He's not being.
This is where he gets on the ground and stay low because smoke rises.
Exactly. He's not being nasty or anything. He's he had one where he said, I remember this from the thing where he said, smoke detectors are like potato chips. You can't just have one. He's eating potato chips, out of a bag. And like he's not being mean about it. And of course, everyone knew who Dick Van Dyke was. I mean, from Mary Poppins at the least. I mean, when these came out. So. I thought these were actually some pretty good commercials. This was one where, like, he says, "Come on, feel me. Do I feel hot?" And I think someone
I
feels
remember
yes,
this one.
Yes,
Because someone actually opens him.
the little girl opens the door and closes it like he's a
Yes.
door. I thought that was funny.
Yes.
So no, I mean, I think these were very clever commercials. They're not. They're teaching you some good lessons, and they're not being overly judgmental or anything. Like they're not yelling. He's not yelling at the audience. He's just telling you some common sense from someone you know and trust from movies and TV, like the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I guess later on it was Diagnosis Murder, right? So
Yeah, I remember Diagnosis
But
Murder.
you know, you're forgetting if you hadn't caught him in Mary Poppins, you caught him in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. In fact, it was more like you saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because they played that on TV a bunch.
don't bring that movie up with me.
Why?
I don't like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This is my big secret.
Really?
This is my big secret. And I'm an Ian Fleming fan, and I know he wrote that book. I will not read that book. I will not, and I've seen the movie. I hate. I shouldn't even tell you what I hate, but I hate the word scrumptious. I hate the word scrumptious. I hate how it sounds.
Wow.
When you take writing classes, they talk about what is a word you hate. Mine is scrumptious. I think our teacher's hated word was snack. She hated the word snack. I hate the word scrumptious, and now I've told the world, so now they're going to mess with me. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I see. Look, people are agreeing with me. I don't like the word scrumptious. I mean, all credit to Benny Hill, talent. I know he was in that movie. I just,
I'm trying to remember who's the female lead in that. Does anyone remember?
I don't know, but her name was truly Scrumptious.
She was truly scrumptious.
That's not no, dude. I don't. Anyway, and then of course he did one where it's stop, drop, and roll. And the good thing I figured out how to do the snippet tool, because trying to find these things online, they looked horrible. They looked worse than here, so I just clipped them from YouTube.
Nice.
But yeah, you find all these online, and he's actually giving some good practical advice here, and you pay attention because it's Dick Van Dyke, so he did a good public service announcement, so good on him. I was trying to find others for fire. I found a lot of British ones. One of the most terrifying ones I saw with the British ones was it's just a camera going around an empty house that's been burned by fire, and then you hear parents calling out for children and children calling out for parents like ghostly echoes in a burned house. And it's like, oh my word.
That's effective. You got to admit, that's pretty darn effective.
I don't know. Did you remember any fire safety commercials growing up that I might have missed here?
No, I can't think. But then I didn't really much pay attention because, like I said, I was pretty firm on the fire safety. So,
yeah. How about you, Ned? Or any fire safety things you remember as a kid?
I remember this one with Dick Van Dyke. Absolutely.
Yeah, these were good commercials.
Yeah, they were.
And I'll tell you, I remember all of the. What's it called? The Smokey the Bear. I just don't remember that one. That must be another one that I blocked out. There was some traumatic things you're sharing here, my friend.
Do you know what's interesting? He had one that never smoke in bed. Now, it wasn't saying you can't enjoy a cigarette. I think it was just don't smoke in bed and just make sure you put the cigarette out. And I know that they probably could have done the PSA about, you shouldn't smoke either, blah, blah. But that's not the point. The point is, if you're smoking, just be careful when you're smoking in the house. That's all.
Yeah.
And make sure you put the thing out. Because that's not how you reach people.
Was.
Yeah. Thank you.
You need to read
Geek
this
Flag.
one. This one you need to read.
Who, me?
Yes, this one's for you.
Hey, Boomer. Scrumptious.
Yes.
This is why I need another beer. I don't like that word, and I don't like that movie. And I know I would hate the book, though it's still probably be better than
So
Diamonds
what do you
Are
do
Forever.
if you have a word that really, really bothers you?
We all have a word that bothers us. That's mine.
And you couple it with a word that is universally a perfect phrase, like scrumptious cellar door. Scrumptious cellar door. Do they balance out?
Whatever. You're thinking of Donnie Darko with the cellar door nonsense.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the word cellar door. I think credenza is better. The credenza.
Credenza.
The credenza.
I mean, y'all
That's a
know
good
the
word.
word that I hate,
What?
and there's no way to put any sort of positive spin on that one.
What?
Yeah, and that's
Taking
more
the
the
Lord's name in vain.
Oh,
that's
that
more
one.
the
Well,
context
yes,
than
yes.
anything else. Yeah, that
Well, I think-
definitely sets you on edge. Yeah.
I get you.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Samuel Proctor. What an odd word to have a problem with. Yeah, it's like it's from way out in left field. It's like
There is. We all have a word we have a problem with, and it's not. I'm not even saying that's necessarily like there's nothing. It's not like the thing that Netter has. It's not like there's anything morally wrong or whatever with the word scrumptious.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't like
and
it.
of course, I immediately associate it with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? Scrumdiddlyumptious.
Well, that improved
You know?
it.
Oh, that improved.
It's
it.
still
Well,
dumb,
yeah.
but I think that made it.
Well,
better
but it's
because
meant
it
to be
broke it up.
dumb. That's kind of.
I don't think I would buy that though. What did they have in Wonka? They had the Scrumdiddlyumptious bar, the competitions, which was a Sizzler, right? That was another one.
What was his name?
The competition, who really worked for
What was
Willy
his
Wonka
name?
anyway?
Yeah, it was. Well, I always assumed that
Slugworth.
Slugworth, yeah,
Sizzler.
Slugworth Sizzler. That's what it was. Which they don't really describe what it is. I always imagined that it was either one of those aerated chocolates or it had like the Rice Krispie treats in it or something like that. That would have kind of made some sense.
Right.
But welcome, Corey of Wilkie's Movies and Music. My forward failed me today after Liquid Lunch because you know about the platform problem. It created guys. Those of you that were there for the lunchtime thing, I was 15 minutes late because I was refreshing, trying to get the stream to start. Finally started, but was on another stream, so I forwarded everyone, or at least I dropped the link. Please go to the new stream. After the stream was over, I went to close out the one that never started, only to see that there were 4 more streams waiting to go live that it had created. I'm like, I am so pissed at EVMux right now. I really, really am.
Oh,
You know?
Well, Wilkie says no worries.
I know, but he's being very gracious. I'm not going to be that gracious when I talk to customer service from EVMux. But anyway, back to
Dick
Scrumptious.
Well, yeah, ready to move on from Fire?
Yes.
Okay. Like I
We
said, the
didn't start
Brits,
the
though,
fire.
the Brits ones were very good, though. They're fire safety ones. They're all over YouTube. I found a lot of those. Car safety.
Do you have the ones about the seat belts?
I think so. Like the first one is technically Sepa one. Now
Go belt someone today.
that would have been a good one. I should have thought of
Yeah.
that one. But
Yeah.
you can tell me about that one. I have the Flying Pumpkin, which I think was out in, was it Tennessee or Arkansas? It was actually more of a local one, but I thought this one was interesting. I know people say being thrown clean from a car is better than being in the car at the point of accident. But imagine flying through the air at 30 miles an hour. What kind of impact? See what happens to this pumpkin when we do it. And then smash! And then it would show it against a telephone pole and other things. So it's like, buckle your safety belt. Now, by then, I don't think it was law. I think it was a suggested right. Yeah, but this was
honestly,
a big
I've really done all the research on that, and it's true. The cars have been made so much safer now. Unless you get knockoff airbags, that's a whole other story. But as far as impact, side impact, front impact bumpers, they're the polymers that they're using and the crumple technology and so forth is so much better. You absolutely are safer in the car. Being thrown clear is not, because, and here's the other irony. Being thrown clear, if you're on a motorcycle, you can understand. How do you get thrown clear from a car? I'll tell you how you get thrown clear from a car. You go through the windshield. something that
Yeah.
wouldn't happen if you were wearing your seatbelt.
Well, this is a convertible, right?
And have you ever seen someone that survives a car accident who went through the windshield? I'm not. You can do your own research on that, but mandatory installation, the cars. United States, 1968, a federal law took effect requiring all new vehicles except buses to be fitted with seat belts in all designated seating positions. You weren't required to wear them, however. That
Yes,
didn't
but
come
he's
until
right about that.
the
But-
late 70s or early 80s, I think.
No, my parents would tell me how they didn't used to be in the cars. I remember that.
Yes, exactly right.
Oh, heck, I remember
but-
being in the back of a friend's station wagon, and it's like a bunch of us kids back there, no seat belts. We weren't even in seats, just bouncing around back there.
I rode around in the back of my my uncle's pickup truck during the summer.
Oh, where like the clear part of it. Now I don't know.
No, just open bed.
Yeah, the open
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
I assume that's not legal, but I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't then either.
Okay, but I do know that I could be wrong, and maybe I'm wrong about Florida law. At least I think you don't have to wear them in the back seat. You definitely have to wear them in the front seat, though. I think they still want you wearing them in the back seat. But don't
well,
quote me on that law.
And
Maybe it is
and
law.
actually, if you're in the back seat and you're thrown forward into someone who's wearing a seatbelt, that could damage both of you. So
Yeah, just put it on.
kind of pointless to be in the front seat wearing a seatbelt if the guy behind you.
They've
isn't
made
wearing-
seatbelts better. I'll say that they're more comfortable than they used to be.
If your buddy sitting behind you is 200 pounds, imagine 200 pounds hitting you in the back of the head at, say, 40, 50 miles an hour. Just saying. United States, New York was the first state to pass mandatory seatbelt use laws, which went into effect on January 1st, 1985. Okay, there you go. And I do kind of remember it when I was like in high school, because I remember my family just went round and round about how could they get around this, how could they do it so that if they were pulled over, quickly put it on.
Oh no, I've known people like that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
They just hated them. I've had to argue with people I've known to put them on. It's like it's especially when it became law, it just became easy. You'll get pulled over. It's like, well, I'll just slip it over me so it looks like I'm wearing it. I just
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You get thrown. Let's say you get thrown and you don't hit the pavement. Let's say you go into that soft grass, and you hit it with your head the wrong way.
cracked neck.
Your neck gets cracked, and if you do survive, you're paralyzed for life.
And then you have the dumb people. There was one that went around. This was many years ago when I heard about this one. A guy had like an RV, put it on cruise control, and then went in the back to make a sandwich, figuring it would just drive for him. They showed what it looked like when it crashed into. I think it crashed into a cement pillar or something.
Oh no, that reminds me of the old Mickey, Donald, and Goofy show where I think they're all making lunch in the back, and like Goofy comes out to eat the lunch, and they said, oh, and they're all eating, and they're saying, and like when it says, hey, well, who's driving? Well, and Goofy says, well, of course I'm driving, and then they're about to go off a cliff because he did
Yeah.
something right.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah. I mean that is a graphic way to express. You might want to wear your seatbelt because if you get thrown clear, you could go spoosh.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Child drivers.
This
Okay.
one I love. So,
This doesn't ring any bells for
that's
me.
little Troy there. I'm kidding.
It kind of does look like me too. Yeah.
Now, they say that children will watch you while you're driving, and they think
Right.
they know how to drive too when they see you operating the instruments. So don't leave them alone in the car. So, of course, Mom gets out with the car running keys in the car because she has to go mail some stuff, right? She's going to mail some stuff. Junior then decides to hop in the front seat and look, hey, look, Mom, I'm driving. And then she goes around and she's trying to pull her, open the door, and he won't let her in. And then, of course, the next scene we see is It's pulling out in the street, and this car is about to hit him right on, and they freeze it right there.
Right. Right. The worst I ever did was, and my cousin was a bad influence on me. We were left in the car while my mom went in somewhere. We got up in the front. We didn't turn the ignition on, but we were, this was before cars. You may not realize this, but early in the 70s, the cars didn't have that lock on them, on the steering column. So we were, and I was stepping on the gas. So when Mom went to start the car, it wouldn't start because I'd flooded the engine.
Oh. Well, you did better than me. And I was old enough to know better at this point. I was like 10 or something. Like, I think I'm sitting in the front seat of my uncle's car. I think he left the keys in, but I knew the car wasn't on. So I'm like, okay. So I started messing around with the gears, and I think I put it in drive, and then all of a sudden it starts going forward.
Yes,
the car front.
That absolutely.
And luckily, it was my cousins and a friend of the family, so they weren't too harsh. I think they saw how horrified I looked, and they figured that was punishment enough.
That was another problem.
I don't think it did any real damage or anything, so they let it go. But
that was actually another problem because
I didn't know that gear would work even if the car wasn't on.
Sure,
I was messing around with it.
We knew enough not to do that. What I did was I was playing with the emergency brake. Crank it, put it back down, crank it, put it back down. And I'd left it cranked. And so again, the car doesn't start. So she's got to wait for basically the plugs to dry out. Starts the car, it won't move. She puts it in drive, it won't move. She didn't realize that the parking brake was...
That's funny.
I'm like, well, you should always put the parking brake on anyway, right? She's like, you smart ass. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, what is this? Is this don't leave your keys in the car or don't leave your kids in the car?
Here's what it was. And to be honest, I feel kind of bad for the mom because she probably left the car for 2 seconds to go put something in the mailbox. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But I think they're saying that's all it takes is for the kid to jump into the front seat and start moving the car. And then she's trying to get into the car, and I guess the door's locked, so she's trying to get in.
There's a whole level of teach your kids, because it's too late when something like this happens. The time I remember getting into the most trouble was when my mom was driving, and I was in the back seat behind her, and I thought it would be funny to cover her eyes with my hands and say, guess who? Oh, yeah, that's not good. Now, here's another one that I got in trouble, and I didn't do anything. I was in the back seat. My uncle was, with my mom. My uncle was driving. He gets pulled over. I wasn't paying attention to what he was doing because I wasn't driving. He got pulled over because he was trying to pass somebody, and he crossed the double yellow, and the cop saw him and pulled him over.
Okay.
And my mother claimed that it was my fault that I had grabbed the steering wheel and, made him swerve. And she yelled at me in front of the police officer, and I'm like, I'm sorry,
What?
Yeah.
Did he get off with a warning at that point?
He did. But it's like, I was like
Mom,
really confused by what the hell I did wrong.
It's like, Mom, you owe me.
Yeah, you better buy me an ice cream. Okay. Honestly. All right. So I like this commercial a lot, though.
Yeah.
Because it has this horrible ending, which is like...
Most of them did, yeah.
Of course,
we learn a lot from a dummy. Yes, exactly.
These were rather comedic, actually. I'll say.
Yes, they were.
These were good ads.
Instead of going for the hard hitting ones, it was like, no pun intended. These were kind of fun.
Well, what is it? Yeah, impact people with either horror or make them laugh, make them scream,
comedy,
or make them laugh, right? So, with these guys, it was always the crash test dummies. That one commercial was like, "Oh, look, these great new airbags. These caught me," and it's like, "Yes, Vince, but no, we need." Oh, with these airbags, we'll be out of a job soon. We don't have to do these things anymore. No, but Vince, and then they'd have a pump on the side, and the pump crushes the side of the door and sends them flying, and then they break into a bunch of pieces. And then he's like, "Yes, Vince, but you can still airbags are great, but there's you just still need to wear your safety belt because you could be thrown out another way of the car. Do you understand? Or be impacted another
Yeah,
way."
there's a couple elements here, and there was a definite evolution to the airbag. So the airbag, of course, it blows up in front of you, right? It does nothing for the person behind you. Again, you could be hitting that airbag, you could be wearing your seatbelt. That guy comes and hits you at 50 miles an hour from behind. Tell me your seat's going to hold up to that, and you're not going to be crushed into your steering column. But yeah, you could be hit by the side. So what did they do? They came up with side impact airbags. Now, the technology behind airbags is absolutely amazing and a little bit terrifying because there is a sensor in the front of the car that, and you know this, especially on modern cars, if a car stops too quick and the car senses it, you'll get an alarm, dee 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 dee,
Yes.
that you gotta brake. Well, it's that same sensor that'll tell your airbag that you're about to hit. It does calculations based on how fast you're going, how fast the thing in front of you is coming up on you. You're definitely going to impact. We're definitely going to have to deploy the airbags. The airbags have to go off in less than a second. They have to inflate in less than a second because you are going to hit that steering column in less than a second. So the airbag inflates with explosive force. If it was, it's the same kind of explosive force, basically for like jump jet, jump seats, ejection seats. It's that strong a thing. So the nylon, I think they're still made out of nylon. That the bag is made out of needs to take that, but it also has to collapse very quickly because it needs to be inflated when you hit it, and it needs to immediately start to deflate as you fall into it to cushion you.
Yes.
If it's just a solid hard bubble, well, then you're just hitting a hard bubble, which is almost as bad as hitting the hard plastic. So you'll notice that the anytime those deploy, the person is sitting there and the thing is loose in front of them. Okay, anyway.
Do you remember in Demolition Man when Stallone has the accident in that, and the car has all this inflatable foam surrounds?
What happened? My car turned into a cannoli.
One moment I'm driving along, next thing I know, my car turns into a cannoli.
It actually was a pretty cool idea.
I actually wanted to say something. We make fun of that future. There's a lot of stupid stuff in that future. I think that's the one thing in that future that's actually a good idea.
Yes,
that's
that
actually a
one
good idea.
I actually thought was a pretty good idea. Here's the thing, because you could use the same sensors, right?
Yes.
For when you're going to be, put it out quickly. It would be one of those kinds of foams that inflates and solidifies. Not really that hard in that quick a time, but like insulation foam or whatever, and it would take care of the whole car, all people in the car. I think the one problem that they have with it would be any off-gassing or just suffocation risks, But I think it's a brilliant idea. But anyway, what a lot of people might not know is that. We have very strict safety standards on front impact bags because it's such a complicated thing. But a lot of companies started buying from outside the United States, where the quality might not have been so controlled, shall we say. So there were starting to be a lot of cases of airbags. These were replacement airbags. So if you've been in an accident, it deploys, and then you have to go and have it replaced at the dealership. And these were dealerships, right? You'd think they'd be using the same ones that came from whatever, Honda, Chevy, whatever. No, they're getting these these cheaper ones, and putting them in your car. And what was happening is they would either inflate too early, they would inflate too late. In both cases, they do you no good. You're hitting the steering column. Or when they deployed wrong, and they were shooting shrapnel into your face. And there were people that died specifically because of shrapnel that hit them from these unsafe airbags. Yeah, there were major recalls.
I remember that.
Millions of dollars of it was bad.
And that's if the airbag deployed at all.
Right. There were lots of cases of them not deploying at all. That's absolutely true. So
these were the crash test dummies, though. I think Jamie Lynn Simmons mentions that they were action figures based on them. I remember that
they
were
did
toys.
make action figures.
I think these were a hit with the kids. They liked these back in the day.
Yeah, there was. I remember they even had crash test dummy costumes for Halloween.
Really?
I do remember that.
See?
And I remember this was voiced by the guy that voiced Garfield and Peter Venkman on The Real Ghostbusters. He was one of the crash test dummies on these commercials. And their mouths would actually kind of move. They would have that weird thing that would come down and up. I mean, these were actually pretty decent commercials. They look like toy commercials. That's what made them interesting. And it's funny that they eventually make toys out of them later on.
They talked like Clutch Cargo.
Yeah, kind of.
They did, yes. But then they would always be something about car safety. Like one time Vince says, well, no one's listening to me, get out of Vince. And then he mentions how I think some R&B singer said, but she wore her safety belt and she lived, and that wouldn't happen. Oh, I guess you're right. She wouldn't have lived if not for wearing that safety belt. So I guess we do have a job to do. And then they go out and then they crash into a wall again, and that's what they do. But it's like, we can survive this, you can't. That's what they would make a point about, right? Yeah, they would say that to the kids in the audience. Yeah, so.
So it started in 1985, ended in 1999. Wow.
Went on for a while.
Years.
I do remember these guys. I wonder if it's because the voice actor died. Maybe that's what it had to do with it. All right. But any other car safety ones y'all remember?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember.
Okay,
no.
Well, now we're moving on then. Littering.
Yes.
Don't be a litter bug.
Right.
These are the most, in-your-face, judgmental, these commercials. Let's see.
Oh, they were.
Let's go to the first one. People start pollution. People can stop it.
That is true. That is true.
And this is like, you see this girl, she's on a boat, and she, throws her sandwich wrapper to the thing, and then a guy in scuba gear comes out and says, what are you doing, littering? And it's like, and, they had other ones on here. It was like, what was it? This kid's doing graffiti on the wall, and the other kids are yelling at him. They look like they're about to kill him because he was drawing on the wall. But it's like, I almost want to say, there was already graffiti here, man.
Right, that's true.
It's like, it's... And was there another one in this one? Let's see here. The limo driver throws something out, and this kid on a bike starts screaming at him. And there's the people start pollution. People can stop it, yes. What is it?
Nate said that the crash test dummies even have their own Saturday morning cartoons. Everybody had their own cartoon.
Is this like
they
when
even
they
had
did
a Rambo cartoon.
How do you do a Rambo cartoon?
They did.
I made a joke that they had a RoboCop cartoon. We needed a Dirty Harry cartoon.
The Jackson 5 had a Saturday morning cartoon.
That's true. And the Three Stooges. They were robots in that one.
Who were robots?
The Brady kids.
The Brady kids were robots?
No, the Three Stooges.
Why were the Three Stooges robots?
They were the Bionic Stooges.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. There was a lot of nose candy happening in the 70s. I'm certain of it.
People start pollution. People can stop it, though. But, yeah, I don't know. There's a little obnoxious redhead kid yelling at the limo driver. Don't throw that out on the thing. It's like that scene in Green Book where they're eating the fried chicken and he says, we just throw it out the window. And then he says, okay. And then the guy throws out the cup he's drinking and he says, go pick that up. He got mad when he threw the cup out the window. Rambo, The Force of Freedom. Let me tell you something. They did a RoboCop animated series, and I think it had Clarence Boddicker as a recurring villain. I could be. What did he show up again on that show? And I'm like, I saw what happened to him in the movie. He ain't coming back from that.
Right.
He got stabbed in the neck by that spike thing in RoboCop's arm. He's done. I saw part of his Adam's apple fall out of his neck. You know, I mean, that was just
Yikes.
That's why I made a joke. They should have done a Dirty Harry cartoon, and you would have had Scorpio show up every once in a while, and he would have like had a scar on his chest from getting shot at the end of the movie. Just because I'm thinking, what's the most inappropriate thing to make into a kid's cartoon? I was thinking Dirty Harry. Let's just make Dirty Harry into a kid's cartoon, and you wouldn't have Clint Eastwood voicing it, but he would do like the intro to each episode or something like live action, kind of like how they had the Jackie Chan adventures with Jackie Chan.
Right.
Which is another cartoon that made no sense to me because the whole point of Jackie Chan is you're seeing him pull off martial arts moves. You're not going to, but it's a cartoon.
I know. I was a little confused by the Pac-Man cartoon because I'm like, where is this lore coming from? You know, I didn't.
Oh, again, what you said, the nose candy.
Probably, very likely.
They stuck me in charge of make. At least with Donkey Kong, it's basically Mario just trying to get Donkey Kong back into the zoo or something, right? That's what each episode.
I think it's something like that.
That's what you do.
Right.
So move on to
Captain
Cleanup.
Well, back to the pollution one.
Oh, well, now
There was the Indian that would cry.
We'll get to there.
You're jumping ahead.
You're jumping ahead. You don't think I was going to include that, Netter?
I had no idea.
It was in the thumbnail.
To be fair, there were ones I didn't include. I didn't include One to Grow On. I didn't include that girl with the messed up teeth. You'll have to tell me about that later.
Okay.
Okay, but
we'll get to that when we get to the egg.
Captain Cleanup. Were you aware of this? This is another 1970s one. It's Captain Cleanup, and he looks like a combination of Superman and Dick Tracy.
I don't know.
And he goes after like these crooks that are like wanting a litter, and I guess he has a kid sidekick with him. Kid Kool-Aid or Cooties, or I don't know what his name was. And
God, yeah, this does seem familiar to me.
This looks like the same people that did those Schoolhouse Rock cartoons. That's what it looks
well,
like.
No, I think more like the animation from the Electric Company.
Oh, okay.
Had, just add Silent E.
Iron Eyes Cody. Oh, we'll get to Iron Eyes in a minute. Deleted. Man,
yeah.
you people want to get to that. I should have started with that one.
No, you saved for the big.
Left to say about this. You don't know.
No, let's just
get to Iron Eyes Cody, the crying Indian. So here we go. He's paddling in his. Is that a canoe?
Canoe.
That's the right word. Okay, canoe. And suddenly there's dirty crap in the water. Then he comes out on the shore. There's all this crap on the shore. All this junk. All this litter.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and someone throws a bag of garbage out of their car.
Literally drives by and throws a bag of garbage.
Big old bag of garbage. And then it goes to his face.
Yeah.
And you just see him trying to be stoic and show no emotion in the face of adversity. In fact, the land he loved getting destroyed. But he can't help the tear coming down his left eye or right eye right there, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember this commercial, Ned, or you seem to have memories of this one?
Very vividly, yeah. Yeah.
It's like you people are destroying.
It was actually a very effective campaign. It really did. And I don't know how much it was, Iron Eye Cody, crying, and how much it was when you see those kids throwing the garbage. That's like, that's really heinous. Oh my gosh,
And to be fair, I think we, at least for a time, we got better in this country with that sort of thing. But again, you need a coherent culture, and then you need to set your rules.
I was just going to say, when you realize you have stock in the land that you live in, you start taking care of it.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people here who
don't take stock in it.
Do you know why? Newspapers, I know that newspapers are going away, but do you know why newspapers cost for a long time a dime, a quarter, $1, when they're actually paid for by the advertisements in them?
So people would actually want them. They have a value.
Yeah, to give it value so that you don't just go pick up, for free a whole bunch of newspapers and use them to line your cat litter box or whatever, which people do anyway, but after they've paid for it and read it. See, that's because there is the perception of value. And if you get to just come to this country for free and you owe nothing, you're going to treat it like someone who owes nothing. Just go take a look at the housing projects where they're not paying to live there and see, how well they take care of their little apartment.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Because you didn't. It's not. Yeah. What was it? I shed a tear like that today when I saw a neglected shopping cart in the middle of a street. Oh, look at that.
That really does annoy me. They say that there's
It's all about car safety. You could get hit. They could hit your.
Well, that's true, and I've seen them, and sometimes it's not anyone's fault if it's not in the corral correctly or whatever, and a strong wind blows, it might just start meandering and it picks up speed, and that can hit a car. The car can hit it, but that annoys me so much because I'm like, look, they actually have corrals for these things. Taking up a space someone could park in otherwise because it has a purpose. Use the damn thing. Don't just leave it taking up space in front of another spot, another car spot, or just stuck up on an island or something like that. That it's got to be wrestled off. And Netter will tell you, if I don't put the cart into the corral, sometimes I will take it all the way back to the store, and if I do that, I'm taking the carts that I see along the way, so I might go back with 3 or 4 carts. Damn it.
All right.
Well, we also park next to a cart return and make it easy.
Well, yeah, because that does make it easier for me, and it helps me to find my car, actually. There's only so many places it could be. It's got to be next to a cart return.
Do you remember in Wayne's World 2? With the Indian visage they saw, and I think someone throws trash there when he cries in one scene. I remember that.
Right. Yeah, because it was that iconic. When I said in the monologue that these were basically memes before they were memes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The parodies of these things, or homage. I mean, I guess in Wayne's World you could call it a parody, but it was still getting across the same message, wasn't it? So It was more like an homage. Yeah. Let's be fair and honest. It's not our fault that we made the Indians cry. It's not our fault that we took their land from the Indians, and believe it or not, it's not our fault that fault for the Indians to cry. Well, yeah, I mean, because before we got here, they were literally wiping out each other. Literal genocide, so just saying.
Anyway, let's move on. There was stuff.
But the one thing I did want to say is that in recent years, somebody did try to, start a whole thing about this, saying, cultural appropriation. The actor wasn't even.
Yes, I heard about that. He wasn't an actual native. Yes.
I want to say, was he Sicilian? Wasn't he Italian?
Maybe. Oh, that's funny.
I can't remember.
They brought that up on The Sopranos. They were going to do that to combat the anti-Columbus people, saying, hey, your ad that you love so much, the guy wasn't even Indian. He's like, what? Is that true? Like the one Indian professor, he got all angry, and he was like,
Yeah, it's like, get over it. I mean, and honestly, I would argue that the clothing he was wearing wasn't even really appropriate to any specific tribe. But it's getting a message across, and he's not supposed to be a real Indian. He's supposed to be sort of a representation of the ideal.
Right.
Right. People just need to get over crap. They need to get over history. They need to get over.
Well, the point is
wrongs.
that we are us today, right?
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah.
On what do we do now going forward rather than harping on the past.
Okay, so we got to be careful about the words we use here, because we've already.
I don't know if I can even say that on the air. That word right there.
I'm so excited.
We're not candy. Do you remember this ad?
I do, and I remember. That it was weird that they used Muppets for this.
Oh, I
but
remember this.
This idea that multicolored pills prescription pills. You might think and you'd have to be pretty young, because I think after a reasonable age, you know that even if it is candy, you should not be taking it without permission. You know, it either doesn't belong to you, or you know, you just don't have permission to have candy right now.
We're not candy, even though we look so nice and dandy. And I'm sorry, as a kid, some of those pills do look pretty sweet.
It looks like a mouthful of lint to me, but yeah.
No, not those pills. I mean, the pills you see.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know, like, wow, those look like sweet tarts. Give me some of them. You know, and then you're going to the hospital. Let me see here, though. But we're not candy, and this was a pretty effective ad campaign. Netter, do you remember this one?
It looks vaguely familiar.
They were blue in another version of it. They were blue. This is like a newer version, like a green version.
Samuel says, my fourth great grandfather, I may get the pronunciation wrong, Arrowet Hale, was stationed at Fort Las Vegas in the 1850s with a rifle to protect overland travelers from a tribe that was getting aggressive with attacking them and kidnapping. Yeah, the kidnapping the children. Yeah, that's exactly right. When people called them savages, it's the same way I talk about people in the inner city, gang members. They are savages. This is an accurate description, not based on race, but based on behavior, the content of their character. You know?
Yes.
The stage name was Iron Eyes Cody, but he was born Espera Oscar de Corti to Italian immigrant parents in Kaplan, Louisiana. Okay. So
I'd rather say he was a Cajun.
I mean, since they say he was born to Italian immigrants, I'm going to assume not Sicilian. If you're Sicilian, I'm going to poke at you. Geisha Monroe, look when they say don't do the things you're not supposed to say on YouTube. On television, don't do it. Yes, exactly.
Despite the fact that these would on PSAs during children's hours, but we can't say this word on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want someone, if they ever bring the head of YouTube for Congress, I want someone to bring this up about the stupidity of the words you can't use. Can someone, like, talk to someone if we would know who even works here, if it's not some machine? Of course, we have This Is Your Brain on Drugs. Now, I remember this. This is from the 80s. Whoa, this is all it says. Crack an egg open, throw it on the pan, says, this is your brain on drugs.
Now, I understand that
Any questions?
I understand they were frying this egg to show a visceral idea of what happens to your brain when you're doing substances like this. However, I feel like it's the heat of the pan is too high because it is scorching the bottom and the top hasn't even started to congeal. What you do is you do it on a much lower heat and you put a lid on top, and you will have a perfect egg every time if you like fried eggs. I mean, you could do whatever you want if you're doing scrambled.
Get a nice steak with that. You'll be good to go, man. I'm just. Gordon Ramsay had a video online how to make the perfect steak and eggs, and he was even showing like he's seasoning it. And the way I'm seasoning it, it's already started. The seasoning is already starting, I guess, to cook the steak a little bit before you put it in the pan. It's like he made like this perfect steak and eggs, and I'm not a big steak and eggs guy, but I wanted to eat that, man. But yeah,
Netter's really good with the scrambled eggs because she takes it off the heat before it's actually finished because the heat of the pan will finish it. Yeah. She does a really, really good job. Yeah.
Did you ever see this ad, Netter?
Oh yeah, this was very popular when I was growing up.
If I remember correctly, there was one that featured the bloke from Hill Street Blues. I forget his name.
Oh really? There was one with
Yeah.
Rachel Lee Cook, and what she does. This is your brain on drug. Like she puts the egg, and she gets the frying pan out, and then she just smashes the egg with the frying pan. This happens to the rest of your life, your family, your friends. He starts destroying.
I
the kid
remember
with the
that
pan.
one too. Yeah.
I almost did that one. It's like
It almost does become parody, though.
you
know,
put the
it's
pretty alternative girl on the commercial to get the guys listening. I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, but I understand the logic.
And then she pulls off her face, and it's Smokey Bear underneath, right?
Oh my word! Why did they do that in that ad, man?
It was the 70s. I'm telling ya. Because their brains were on eggs.
Someone inhaled some of that smoke, man. It's just not different kind of smoke, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, boy.
The smoke they be yelling about on these commercials here. They could have done better. They could have done better. But with the eggs, you don't like the egg commercial? I mean, it's simple, man. They had other drug they had other substances you're not supposed to take commercials back in the 80s. And I liked one where it's like about dads encouraging the dads to talk to your kids about doing this stuff, and it was saying like, I can't use the words. Never mind. Is this or is that? And like you see the dads, it ruins the effect when I can't say the words. Never mind.
Right.
But the point is that you don't have to be an expert. Just still talk to your kids about not doing the stuff. You know, it was like that. But it was actually an encouraging commercial. But
this is no joke. I had a serious egg addiction for years. It's not a bad addiction to have. In fact, I am pivoting to much more eggs in my diet. I am realizing how nutrient and protein rich they are. Definitely going to be getting more eggs in my diet, more chicken. So, if I do a lot of dishes that put chicken and eggs together, it's a mother and child reunion. So.
Oh, dude, why'd you have to go there?
Because that is literally the inspiration.
I know, but
okay, you know. What's his name? Paul Simon? Yeah, his song "Mother and Child Reunion" is about a chicken and egg breakfast on a menu.
I mean, I've had it.
Yeah,
you can actually get the you can actually get the fried chicken at Cracker Barrel with eggs if you so desire.
Now I want fried chicken.
Yeah, I know, right?
I learned it from watching you. Now
yes.
This is the big one.
This was a very interesting. My mother had a very visceral response to this because she was a very much. It was when it came to smoking. She's like, just because I smoke doesn't mean it's okay for you to smoke. I said, yeah, I know. I should be smarter than you. She didn't like that much, but there wasn't much she could say because she literally set herself up for it.
Listen to me. It's the kids though. Like, so here's the kid. He says, "Where'd you get this stuff?" He finds some stuff. I don't know if he found a. It looked pretty serious, like the kind of stuff you put on a spoon, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And the dad's like, "Who taught you? How did you learn? Who taught you how to do this stuff?" And then the kid goes, "I accuse my daddy." "Hey, you all right? I learned it from watching you." And then the dad just looks dumbfounded and can't say a word.
Which is absolutely well, yeah. It really does take the wind out of your sails. You're just a hypocrite.
And children that do illegal substances have kids that do illegal substances. Or substances that are good for you.
Stopping by to like and comment on my way home from work. Thank you so much, Booger. Be safe getting home. And then he's dropping a like and a comment over here also. I don't know which channel these are from. But thank you for doing the multiple channels. But yeah. What was I going to say about this? Yeah, I mean, and in a way, it kind of makes me think too of Ralphie in Christmas Story, right? Because when he swore, where did you hear those words from? He wanted to say his dad, because let's face it.
Yes.
When he'd be downstairs, egg, frag, rang, and frag. He learned all the words from his dad, but he couldn't say that, so he made up something. So not only did he use a bad word, but he lied. Welcome, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Salute. Happy Friday to you.
He blamed it on Schwartz.
Schwartz, yeah.
And then Schwartz was getting it from his mom on the other line. Remember that? It was like... But
I
here
love
we go.
when he said, "What? What?" And you could hear it coming out of the phone. She's like, "Ah."
There's nothing you can do. And I'm sure the mom
Keely
said, you know what you
Chow.
did. You know what you did. And he's like, what did I do? What did I do? It's like, okay. Hello,
Keely Chow,
good morning from Hong Kong.
Happy Saturday to you. Thank you so much for stopping in, Keely Chow, our friend from the future. The end.
Well, that's right. We can still talk about some stuff.
Well, do you want to talk about what we got coming up this week?
I guess. What do we have coming up tomorrow night?
Well, let me show you.
You are watching Last Call, streaming every Friday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Come on in, pull up a chair, and have a drink with us.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, in a futuristic world, the USA decides to send a married couple of astronauts to its moon base in order to prevent any improper contact with the Soviet female cosmonauts manning the USSR moon base. Jerry Lewis stars in the zany 1966 sci-fi comedy Way, Way Out. Join us this Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents Films with Friends.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Every Monday night is Members Night at the movies on Last Call. Members enjoy an exclusive watch party just for them, and you can join too for as little as $1.99 a month. This week, Troy is presenting a classic film that is very on brand for Last Call, and the first in a 2-week series. Jackie Gleason, Paul Newman, George C. Scott, and Piper Laurie star in the 1961 drama about an up-and-coming pool player squaring off against a longtime champion in a single high-stakes match. Members, join us for The Hustler this Monday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And if you're not a member, please consider it. It really helps support what we do here at Last Call. Thanks. Hello. While you're here, please visit our merch store where you can get cute t-shirts just like this. Link in the description below. Or use this QR code on your mobile device. Hope you find something you like. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, a wounded Agent Cooper has a vision of a giant who gives him several clues about the murder of Laura Palmer. Shelley and Pete recover from the mill fire, but Josie and Catherine are missing. Join us for May the Giant Be With You, this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
Meet me at Sparkwood and 21.
This week on Last Call presents The Return of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock's brother Mycroft enlists his younger sibling to locate missing patent plans that pertain to a strategically critical state-of-the-art submarine. Can Sherlock help his brother to discover the Bruce Partington plans? Find out this Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Did you top off your glasses? We now return to Last Call.
Yeah, so that's it.
No, we could talk about let's talk about some of those things in your thumbnail. What was the girl with the messed up teeth? You got to talk to me about that.
So this one was, I want to say, either late 80s, early 90s when meth was becoming the big thing. I think it was more 90s, and they decided they had to ratchet it up from the egg thing. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to depict exactly what happens to you when you have that particular addiction. And I think most people know because of these campaigns, mostly showing like the before and after. You know, it shows the girl, she's really, really pretty, and then like 3 years later, after doing this, you know, she looks like she's aged 25 years and her teeth have fallen out. You know.
Oh.
Yeah,
no yearbook picture for her, huh?
exactly. So it's interesting because they were playing to vanity over whatever enjoyment you're going to get out of it, you think you're going to get out of it, And I remember I had buddies that were jocks that were like, yeah, I would never do meth. I'd do steroids because if I'm going to die, I want to die big. I'm like, so in other words, the vanity thing was having the exact opposite on them. They were like, yeah, they want to, just saying. Well, it's the same mentality that would push you to, if not that, then Ozempic or whatever other thing that you're taking that's really going to mess up your body because of vanity. But I think what it comes down to is it's not just vanity; it's also just the corruption and how quickly that happens to you. That transformation happens very, very quickly. A lot of other drugs, they say a lot of people, and I don't care anymore. If I'm going to get demonetized, I'm going to get demonetized. If there are a lot of drugs. Alcohol is one, for example, that you could have a real problem, but people come up with ways to hide their addictions, and they could have a problem for years, and people go, I had no idea, he was doing this, that, and the other, but drive by, like, and share. Thank you so much, Joe's Atmosphere. Super appreciate that. But yeah, that's what that meth one was. And then that one was actually even more successful in print ads. There were a lot of print ads because it was the before and after picture,
And then there was One to Grow On.
Yeah, I see. Unfortunately, this came later. This was later in the 80s.
I remember these well.
Much attention, to Saturday. Do you remember any in particular?
I believe that these were aired on one of the networks. It was either ABC or NBC, and it was like One to Grow On. And they were little morality tales. For instance, there was one, this kid, he's in a parking lot, and he's being dared, rip that antenna off that car. Come on, do it. And it's like, okay, rip the antenna off the car. And then later on, his grandpa's picking him up. And he goes to meet his grandpa, and they get into the same car he ripped the antenna off of, and it says, let's listen to this music. He says, oh, man, someone snapped off my antenna. And it's like, see, the thing you did, kid, ended up hitting you back. Someone you cared about.
Well, and more importantly, I think they're getting across, even if you don't know the person,
yes,
somebody is dealing with that, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
This one really kind of, I know you're right there, Samuel, but I don't want to start seeing those kinds of campaigns. The problem is that I don't, especially because most of these, not the ones that we were just talking about, the One to Grow On, but most of the rest of these were paid for with government dollars. I don't want the government telling us what we should and should not eat, because they've had it wrong for decades.
Oh, you mean like the ban on soda in certain states or whatever it was?
It's not a ban, it's a tax. It's a sin tax.
There was a point, and I can't remember where, so...
It was I think it was New York, you can't get large.
It's like you could not get soda.
So I'll buy 2 mediums.
Because it's like, obesity is a thing. And it's like, yes, obesity is a thing. But if you try to tell somebody they cannot have a thing, they want it more.
And if you justify it that way, then you start saying you can't have more than 2,000 calories a day.
Didn't they go after eggs at one point?
They've been trying to go after eggs because they say it's high in cholesterol, which it is, but there is no evidence. In fact, they've tried. There is no evidence that dietary cholesterol equates to cholesterol in your circulatory system. In fact, they're finding that cholesterol in the circulatory system is produced by the body as a result of sugar.
That makes sense.
So this is the problem. You start, deciding that the science is this and and you know we have been told to eat some very bad stuff by the government, right? Bread, bread is one of those things that's killing most of our population, especially the way it's treated. We're supposed to have, safe foods, with labeling and all this kind of stuff. But if you knew what they're putting into the chemicals they're putting into bread so that it lasts a long time, well, convenience is great.
Yeah, I think the English can't eat our bread when they come over here, right?
They can't. Exactly. And the chemicals that we put into our bread are not allowed in most other countries for a reason.
Do you know what's funny? I remember reading horror stories of stuff in the Victorian age of how they would put I don't know if it was talcum powder in to make the bread white because people wanted white bread because they thought it was healthier. Well, actually, the healthier bread isn't necessarily the white bread. It was the ones that look more of a brown color, right?
Yeah, like wheat.
So. The best if you have to eat bread, okay, make sure it's whole grains, not just labeled whole grains.
Yes.
Truly whole grains. Get it from a bakery. So in other words, it's not going to last you more than 2-3 days. Only buy what you can eat in the next day or two. Okay? But better still, make it yourself as you need it. Better still, don't eat bread. Find a different alternative. Netter and I are going to try this weekend a bread substitute made from chicken.
Let me know how that is. I'm curious.
I'll tell you, when I saw it made, it was a YouTube video. I was like, that looks really good. And I'm thinking through the ingredients. The chicken, what was it? It was chicken, baking powder.
Yeah, and I think egg.
An egg. And I'm like, that actually sounds like.
And the way the other YouTuber did, her name is Lily, she mixed it all together and then rolled it out like a pizza crust, so nice and round, baked it.
Oh, that's when she was making the pizza, yeah.
Right, this is the bread we're
right.
going to have.
I was talking about the buns for burgers.
And then after she had it in for a while, she took it out, she flipped it over, put it back in for another 5 or 10 minutes, and made, apparently, an incredible
we want to try it.
Crusted
I'll tell you, can you imagine a burger with cheese between two pieces of bun that are made entirely out of chicken and egg? That's just solid protein, my friend. Tell me that's not going to be satiating for you. I don't even need the French fries on the side after that.
Oh, I do.
Wait until you try it. I'll bet you don't.
I gotta have my potato circles.
Do you want to get healthy? I'm just saying,
Anyways. So what else, though? I'm trying to think if there are any other ads I missed, man. I don't know. It's like,
Let me think.
I'm sure there were plenty of them.
Did I have any in the thumbnail that we skipped over?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of recent ones. A lot of
There aren't recent ones. All the recent ones now are pushing ideological things more than actual safety things.
Well, it's funny because I did find some ads about being like being anti-ist, if you know what I'm saying. I saw some of those from the 70s, and it's like this one guy says, he's like, what does prejudice mean, Grandpa? Well, it means that, you don't see someone like you. Or he says, but I have a Jewish friend. He says, well, you don't see him as your friend, you see him as your Jewish friend. That makes you prejudiced. And I'm like, well, not necessarily. I just
this is where it starts.
I didn't want to use that ad because that one was cringe.
This is where it starts to go beyond appreciating.
Because then you get yelled at for not seeing people for what they are. Then they yell.
Exactly.
Then you get yelled at for that. He says, "What? You don't see me?" It's like that was what the
Jordan Peterson had a lot to say about this whole concept of intersectionality and identity. This whole when your identity is who you like to sleep with, the color of your skin, the language that your ancestors spoke, and all of that. then you find yourself in a real problem, because then nobody is allowed to talk about you because they can't talk about those sensitive things that are so much an important part of your identity, right? So I can't even talk about, Weisenheimer over there because, he belongs to organizations, but I can't say what organizations they are because they represent his ethnicity, and that's offensive to even mention it. It's like, what are we even doing here anymore, right? I mean, the best friends are the ones that are different and enjoy their differences,
Yes. I don't get it. But, I'm trying to think, though. It's just, I don't know. I guess that's it for ads, though, man. I don't know, man. I'm like, these are the things you would see. Oh, here's another one. Here's what I didn't put on there. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? It's 11 p.m. I forgot that one.
Right.
It's 12 a.m. Do you know where your children are? And it's like, that's for the parents. And I would see these on TV, and I'd be like, ugh. Is there some kid out there that's not home? And, like, he's in trouble?
The fact is, and my mother made this great point. She's like, yeah, at 10 p.m. I know where my kids are. I don't know where the hell they are at 3 in the afternoon.
Well, that was back in the 70s when kids could go running around and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Before the
God.
helicopter
On a Saturday, I would leave the house at 8 in the morning. I'd throw a bunch of crap in my backpack, including snacks and water and, all kinds of things I thought I'd need and I really didn't need. And I'd ride my bike through like 4 or 5 different neighborhoods to meet up with my friends, and we'd all go bike riding, play basketball, all kinds of stuff. And we would get home. Well, I was supposed to be home by 5, but I was really pushing it some days, and my mom would be really upset with me if I wasn't home in time for dinner. But if I wasn't home by 10, she would have lit me up. There's just no doubt about it. Let me teach you a lesson about fire, kid. Yeah, it was the 70s. It was a very, very different kind of. And I'm sure there must have been a TV show or something where a mother was, taking her shoe and hitting the kid because she caught him smoking, and she's got a cigarette in her mouth as she's doing it. I'm sure. I guarantee you, that had to be, But yeah, it was a very, very different time. And I do feel like in a lot of ways it was a better time. It wasn't perfect. By no means was it perfect. But I do feel like we had come a long way with the racial stuff. We had come a long way with acceptance of just about everything. The whole idea of not condemning someone because you don't agree with their lifestyle. Live and let live kind of a concept. And it was okay to not be accepting of a certain lifestyle in your own life. Just let people do what they're going to do. It's none of your business, really. And I think there's a lot of people in those communities that are recognizing that and saying, yeah, these radicals that are out there saying all this stuff, they don't speak for us, the ones waving flags and stuff.
Well, that's the problem. Sometimes the worst people of any group, they're the ones that rise, and they're the ones that are the most vocal sometimes.
Yep. I remember so many times Netter saying, about all these feminist messages. Yeah, you may be a woman, but you don't speak for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
It's like, just because that is your opinion on something.
She did find, though, that the best way to, kind of put it back on them so they don't know what to say when they would, be accusatory that you're a woman, you could do anything you want. Okay, I want to be a homemaker. I want to be a housewife. No, this is the modern. Hey, my body, my choice. I choose for my body to be in the house working.
Yeah, it's like, I am doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, don't try to tell me I'm not.
Don't, and as soon as you say it, my body, my choice. That's why this whole 2019-2020 thing was such a big deal. you got to mask up and you got to take and put these things in your body. No, my body, my choice. Do you agree with my body, my choice or not? You can't say it on one side and not the other.
Well, I remember I made the joke when a certain last president said that you should wear 2 masks, and I said, or maybe he said 3 masks, and I'm like, yeah, and then you could suffocate and you could collapse, and then they could list it as a pandemic related death, for the dreaded disease.
I just,
Poor Emilio Estevez got into trouble with Disney over that too. Because I think he quietly exited the Mighty Ducks show because I think they were trying to do like a Mighty Ducks show like they were doing Cobra Kai, where he came back and he was on it. And then I think what it was it's not that he was against a certain thing you took. He was just against the mandate of you taking it. That's what he said. It
Most
should be a
people
person's
were.
choice.
There were a lot of people that went and got that jab that did not that were anti being forced to do it. And welcome,
exactly.
Tim Hayes. Good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. I'm glad you're here.
But Disney's in some bad shape right now. But we'll see.
But we'll be talking Star Wars next week. Maybe they're turning a corner. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation right now.
They have new management there, but I don't know what's going on inside Lucasfilm because I don't know. Well, I know who Filoni is. I don't know who this other person is.
We're getting some very mixed messages. Some very positive. Some.
Here's the thing: they already have stuff in the pipeline they got to bring out, so they're probably going to see how it does. Frankly,
but keep in mind that they're already spending lots of money on reshoots on both of those big projects.
You know what I would do if I was running Disney? I'd go into Lucasfilm. I'd say, you have to make a movie. I think the budget it would be a modestly budgeted movie, like $40 million, and it has to be an original property. You got to create something whole cloth, not related to Star Wars under the Lucasfilm label, and show me that this can be successful. Because frankly, I need to know if y'all have any talent over there. Because frankly,
that's actually a great idea. That is actually kind of brilliant. You have
a modest budget movie that's an original property that you have to create on your own. Something else Lucasfilm can make. Because Lucasfilm had other stuff back in the day. They had Indiana Jones. They had Willow. They had all those games they made on PC that had original storylines. So you can do original stuff at Lucasfilm. Do something not Star Wars related. Prove me you can do that before you even touch Star Wars again. That's what I would do.
You go and you look at the budget for the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
You figure out what that would equate to in modern dollars, factoring inflation, and say, this is your budget. Make me a blockbuster. Make me a blockbuster that will produce 3 movies from it.
Yes, and it's not Star Wars. It's something new.
That is unrelated to any existing
Lucasfilm IP.
And not an adaptation of a book or old
whole
TV
cloth.
show or anything. Yes.
Because that's how Star Wars came about. It was whole cloth. So just do it. Make something new. Show me you can do it.
Both Star Wars and Marvel have set a pattern since 2020. After screwing the fans over, they give them a bone, something good or looks good, to take it. Then they return to crapping it again. I don't think that's. I think they really are. Look, there's things in the pike, and we'll talk about it on Sunday, that if they actually happen, that's way more than just a bone. It is the closest thing you're ever going to get to Disney saying, we really effed up.
Were they insinuating with this Avengers movie? I think someone over there says it's the sequel to Endgame. Almost insinuating like it's not the sequel to all this other stuff we brought out, like the Marvels and, I mean, are they just kind of just wanting to kind of sweep that stuff under the rug now, especially those different series they've done? Like She-Hulk and all that.
Both supporters of the all-new, all-different Marvel Studios, as well as the fans that have been angry about it, all sides are under the impression that what is going to happen is after the Doomsday thing, Doomsday is setting up a reboot. And they're going to wipe everything away and start over again. Maybe not literally starting over again, like going back and doing the origin stories and, Avengers
I
Assemble
mean, like
type of
cast
stuff.
a new Captain America, cast a new Iron Man, but that way you can have
Something,
these. Okay,
something
yeah.
where they coalesce around a single canon universe, without all the stupidity that gets a little bit back to. But honestly, there's the vast majority of fans are basically like Samuel Proctor saying, "Look, it's too little, too late. I'm done. I'm not coming back." And honestly, okay, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping the gun on what we're going to be talking about on Sunday.
It's
but
fine.
if Gina Carano has a cameo in the upcoming Grogu movie, that is not going to get me to the theater to see it. I will wait.
Play a pivotal part in it.
Well, not only that, I want to hear from people like Deleted Scenes and Critic Lists and Sins Corner, and especially Midnight's Edge and Doomcock and so forth. Was the movie actually any good? Was there a reason for me to see it? Is Gina Carano just like Samuel said, just another little carrot being waved in front of us? It's going to be a bunch of bullcrap, because again, as everyone is saying, all roads lead to Jake Skywalker. Except, I was just listening to a WDW Pro panel that Tom Connors was on, and both Filoni and Gina have said things that is very difficult to reconcile with the sequel trilogy still being focused on. And Lou Wasserman's Ghost even, and guys, go check out Midnight's Edge for all of this. Lou Wasserman's... What?
I'm sorry.
Lou Wasserman's...
I'm sorry.
It's your show. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. I apologize. I'm being bad. Okay.
Lou Wasserman's Ghost was saying that, you're not going to get a reboot, of Star Wars the way you want it to, where they decanonize the sequel trilogy, make it overtly clear. What they're going to do is what they've done for generations in Hollywood, is with long-running franchises. If they want to change some element of canon, they just change it, and then they continue on, and then they never acknowledge, that thing that, well, wait a minute. How does the whole Rey story fit into this? It doesn't. We've moved on. Forget about that. That's what it's going to be. If, and it's still a huge if, they do that. I don't know that they will. We'll see.
I did want to remind you and also the chat that you still have yet to watch this Rise of Skywalker. I believe you never saw it, did you?
Why would I?
Well, just to know how the sequel trilogy ends.
I know how it ends. It ends in identity theft, is what it ends with. Where Rey Palpatine steals the Jedi home, or the Lars homestead, and calls herself Skywalker. That's how it ends. Luke dies after having exiled himself because he thought about killing his nephew one night, and Han Solo dies because he got impaled by that son.
Well, that's okay, though.
So really, it would have been better if Luke had killed him.
But Han shows up again as like a Force ghost to say it's okay, Kylo.
That's not how the Force works.
Yeah, well, that was one of the few good lines, and Force Awakens had a couple good lines in it. That's what's funny.
Yes, but it needed to be applied to him. He was never supposed to be a Force ghost. You can't be a Force ghost if you're not. Even the Jedi couldn't be Force ghosts.
Not all
unless
of them could
they
be,
learned the skill.
They made a point that George Lucas said Qui-Gon Jinn is not a Force ghost.
Right.
And then, of course, he shows up as a Force ghost on the Obi-Wan show.
Right. The whole idea was that he couldn't manifest as a Force ghost, but he had learned the skill, and he was able to communicate with Yoda and Obi-Wan from the Force to teach them so that they could
that's a rare
Force
gift to be able to do that, right? Yes.
And it required training.
It's kind of like how on Doctor Who, while the Doctor could regenerate and Time Lords can regenerate, it's never a guarantee.
Right.
That was something
if you
on the
die
old show.
dead, if you die dead, there is nothing to regenerate.
Like
Yeah.
there's a scene with Peter Davidson when he the final episode where he got that horrible toxicity where he's like, he thought he was going to die. He said, "I might regenerate. I don't know." And that's when
Yeah.
he goes into the thing. Like he had to kind of fight to come back because he got really messed up in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Filoni who first made him a Force Ghost in the Clone Wars short. I don't have a huge problem with it. I do see the potential for... Look, if Qui-Gon was able to communicate through the Force with Obi-Wan and Yoda, maybe eventually he could manifest himself as a Force Ghost. Fine. My problem is the fact that they did it means they didn't understand the situation. They didn't pay enough attention to the canon in order to get the canon right. That's the problem.
Well, they make their own canon, then they ignore that canon. I've been noticing this. Sometimes they don't even follow their own canon they set up, which also drives me crazy. And even when I don't like the canon, it's like
this is what I said when these pixie dusting, Kathleen Kennedy supporters online were saying, these books are canon. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because books have never been canon. Well, these are. They said, okay, get back to me in a couple years when the Clone Wars or something else that's supposed to be canon overwrites it. And they did. And they did.
They tend to do that.
Yeah. Public service announcement from the Klingon Empire. Use only dilithium from Urapente. Only you. And prevent the warp core breach. Can prevent warp core breach. Home from the mines. Welcome back, my friend. I'm not sure George paid much attention when he made that rule. If you have to train to be a Force Ghost, how does Anakin become one in Return of the Jedi after dying? One could argue that it was Obi-Wan and Yoda who were specifically with him who helped him to manifest. Of course, now that's been changed in the Disney universe, but yeah, and see, that's another good point, because that happened in Return of the Jedi. The prequels weren't made until after, so he was going back and retroactively, because that line you can't deny the line when Yoda tells Obi-Wan, an old friend I've been in contact with, he can still teach you. I don't actually remember the exact lines, and he specifically said Master Qui-Gon. He wanted him to go to Tatooine and learn this skill from. So we knew that Master Qui-Gon was going to teach Obi-Wan how to become a Force Ghost. That was a piece of lore that existed. So if you counterman that, you kind of have to justify it.
Remember those deep fake videos of Anakin and Qui-Gon and
yes,
they were watching the Acolyte, and there's this funny scene where like they show the Jedi on the show showing up to pick up the girls, and like they say, and like Qui-Gon says, "Oh, come now." When the Jedi took me from my home, it was the happiest day. It was the happiest day of my family's life. When Obi-Wan was like, "Really? It tore my family apart when they took me." It's like this. These jokes that like there's certain
things. Did you see the one where Padme was there?
No, was she?
That was a good one. Oh, it was good.
Was she talking? Was Anakin all weird around her and stuff? It was just
you kind of need to see it. But what I will say about this, yes, it was AI, but it was only AI for the deep faking.
It was like
elements.
A deep fake. You had actual actors in the room. They were just
and their voices were pretty damn good.
Yes.
I mean, it was like I could really believe that was the people they were protecting. They actually did a really, really good job.
Yes, and I remember like when the woman shows up with this, spice creams. Oh yes, spice creams. What are they spiced with? The spice mines of Kessel. And of course that.
Yeah. will be sent to the spice mines of Kessel, smashed into who knows what. We're made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should wrap this up. You guys all know what we got coming up this week. Boomer, any last thoughts that you want to get out before
Nothing.
we
I hope y'all
close this
learn
meetup?
stuff. Like, don't let the kids take the steering wheel so they get into a horrible accident. And I forgot to mention that ad too with the little kid. There was also an infant in the back tied to one of the baby seats.
Let's pile it on. And there was a little kitten in the.
I'm sure there's a little
carrier
kid, a
too.
gerbil in
Yeah.
the front seat too.
Right.
You know, I'm
Exactly.
just.
Don't eat paint. Don't drink things that you find underneath the sink.
Yeah, please don't do that. That happened in Heather's, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You know.
Good old Heather's.
But yeah. Anyway, Netter, any last thoughts, any last words before we wrap it up?
You guys are all Osmo.
You guys really are Osmo.
And Troy did post the Farty Fox songs. Where did you post it?
It is now in the music section. There is a playlist, so the opening and closing themes for all the different shows, as well as Farty Fox, you can find over.
I like the Farty
Make
Fox.
sure you check that out.
Pardon me?
So make sure you check that out.
Oh, yeah.
And give it a thumbs up because it is a fun little video. Said you guys are Osmo. Thank you for the super stickers, super chats, and the gifted memberships. We really do appreciate them, and they do help us to keep the show running. So thank you so much for that.
Now that I see this, I'm picturing. I'd like to see like a poster, like a public service. Never do drugs, kids. And then like a movie poster for Never Say Never Again. Don't drink ammonia. That's right. Shoot it right into your veins. No. I was known in the late 60s as the stomach pump kid, since you message don't drink things under the sink, etc. I could even bite safety caps off my pill bottles. ER staff was on a first name basis. As in, hi Mark, what is it you ate today? My mother used to bring me the child-proof caps to open because she couldn't get them open. And watch out for snakes. Yes.
Yes, always. That's an MST.
I remember the thing in Boy Scouts. They were venomous. You knew they were venomous snakes if they had the slit eyes. And the problem with that is, if you get close enough to see their eyes, you're gonna get bit. You know, just duh. You know, better to know the snakes, you know, in your local area, you know. So there you go.
Cool.
But anyway, so next week Star Wars, and you guys know everything else, and let's watch Jerry Lewis tomorrow. Okay, take care, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading, closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. Beneath this smoky haze, jukebox serenades us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near, but in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, for me and you. Let's toast to the night,